Alright, so number 11 on your packet today starts our story problems. Just like yesterday, we're going to write our math sentence. So I need to identify what are my variables, what do they stand for. So I begin by reading. Yellowstone National Park is a popular field trip destination. This year, the senior class at High School A and the senior class at High School B both planned trips there. The senior class at High School A rented and filled 12 vans and one bus with 139 students. High School B rented and filled 6 vans and 14 buses with 650 students. Each van and each bus carried the same number of students. Find the number of students in each. So we're talking about vans and buses. So I'm going to use the variables V and B. V standing for van, B standing for a bus. Math sentence 1 talks about 12 vans and one bus with 139 students. So that's 12V plus 1B, and that carted 139 students. The next one talked about 6 vans and 14 buses with 650 students. So 6 vans plus 14 buses for 650 students. So now I look like the previous page, where I have 2 equations that I need to get my coefficients to be the same. Well, actually opposites, but we'll get to that. So I look to my V's. Go to the smaller coefficient, which is a 6. Is there anything I can multiply 6 by that will give me 12? Turns out there is the number 2. So when I multiply it by 2, I notice that gives me a positive 12V on top and a positive 12V on the bottom. So I'm going to make it negative 2. Rewrite my equation. And I'm going to multiply negative 2 times 6V is negative 12V. Negative 2 times 14B is a negative 28B. And negative 2 times 650 is a negative 1300. And now I'm ready to add my equations. So 1 minus 28 is a negative 27B. And then 139 minus 1300 is a negative 1161. Divide it by 27, divide it by 27, and you can cart 43 students on every bus. So my answer should read 43 kids per bus. Now I need to go back and find how many students can go in a van. So I'm going to use my purple equation because it has the smaller numbers. So I have 12V plus the 43 kids per bus equals 139. So to solve this, I begin by circling what I'm solving for, dropping my line, and I take 139 minus 43 to get 96. So now I have 12V equals 96. How do I do that multiplication there? I divide. So in every van was 8 students. So 8 kids per van. We're going to do one more super quick, and then you guys have a handful to try on your own. So I start by doing the exact same thing. I read it. Joe and Deshawn each improved their yards by planting rose bushes and ornamental grass. They bought their supplies from the same store. Joe spent $238 on 14 rose bushes and 14 bunches of ornamental grass. Deshawn spent $65 on 1 rose bush and 7 bunches of ornamental grass. What is the cost of 1 rose bush and what is the cost of an ornamental grass? So I'm going to use R for my rose bush. And I'm going to use G for my ornamental grass. I'm going to just call it grass. So let's start with Joe. Joe bought 14R plus 14G, and he spent $238. Now I'm going to look at Deshaun, who bought 1 rose bush and 7 bunches of ornamental grass, and he only spent $65. I gotta look to see which one I can get to be the same. The R's, I could multiply the bottom equation by 14, but I also noticed that right here I have a 7 and I have a 14, so I could also multiply the bottom equation by 2, which I think is what I'll do to try to keep my numbers smaller. And again, we want it to be a negative so that we can just simply add. So my top equation gets brought down. And then my bottom equation, I start by multiplying. 1R times negative 2 is negative 2R. This should be a negative 14G. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14G. And then negative 2 times 65 is a negative 130. Draw my line, add my equations. 14R minus 2, 12R. My G's disappear, and 238 minus 130 is 108. So now I need to divide 108 by 12, and R equals 9. So he spent $9 per every rose bush. So now that I know what R is, I need to plug that back in to find G. I'm going to use the bottom equation. So I have 1 times R plus 7G equals 65. We discussed that R is 9. So I'm going to multiply 1 times 9 and get 9 plus 7G equals 65. Subtract the 9 from both sides, and you get 7G equals 54. Divide by 7, divide by 7, and G equals, 65 minus 9, totally not 54. It's 56. Divided by 7 means the answer is 8. So you're going to pay $8 per grass. The rest of these on here are for you to try. Your test tomorrow will have 3 story problems. Please be sure if you have any questions you ask.